Hi everybody, hope you're doing marvelously well. You may recall, if you've been watching us for a few years, that we were either the first or one of the very first to demo and review and do giveaways of the Kali LP-6. The Kali LP-6 has become a dominant speaker in its price range for $300 and less for a pair of powered monitors, Kali kick butt. They have been reviewed by every major music magazine, every retailer, blah, 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 you name it, and every other human being, and everybody loves them. They sound great. They normally sit in the middle here. Why aren't they there? Well, because we've got the new LP-6s to try out. So before we get started, let's talk about why they've upgraded the LP-6. So after talking to the lovely fellows at Kali, they've told us that they have a 3 dB higher output due to a more sophisticated limiter architecture, meaning they can get louder, which is pretty cool because they're already pretty loud, so that's nice. They also have a 3 dB higher sensitivity. Now this is a big deal because it means like popular devices like the Focusrite Scarlett or similar inexpensive interfaces will now be able to drive the speakers to full output. So having louder speakers is a big deal. It's not going to be like blow your head off louder, but it's loud enough that you should be able to work and grow with these for a lot longer. You know, I've reviewed a lot of inexpensive small speakers that are $300 or less. And the problem is that they're great when you're sitting between your computer screen. You've got a pair of monitors like this far away, literally. But you can't relax and sit back and work in a comfortable environment like I can here with the new LP-6s. So without further ado, let's get them up on the meter bridge, give them a listen, make sure that they still sound as great as we remember. And also remind you that you can win one of 3 pairs of these lovely speakers. Down below, there will be a link. You can win one of 3 pairs. Couple of things. We got them on the ISO pucks. Those are the ISO acoustic. So there'll be decoupling of the decoupled decoupling. So we won't have any discussions, even though these actually designed for an SSL and they have a thick rubber mat on them, so they do decouple. But now we're decoupling the decoupling. People always ask me about that about 100 times. They always asked about the angle and say they're not pointed in, but as you can see, they are pointed in. It's just if you look from the front in a flat shot, it doesn't look like that. But yes, they are angled in. I will put my head about here to get a nice equilateral triangle. What else do we need to know? Well, we're going to listen to songs that we recorded here, mixed here. So basically, we know how these songs should sound in this room. And of course, most of the stuff was recorded and mixed on Genelecs, which are wonderful speakers and a lot more expensive. So let's check it out. Oh, and also on the back, we did select the EQ setting for being placed on top of a console like this. So should be pretty nice. So our first song is going to be Steve Magora, Whiskey. And this is, well, Steve is the keyboard player and background singer for Toto. So he's stupidly talented. Let's give it a listen. Insane amounts of low end. Look, I know you're only listening through here, and even if you could hear the pair of microphones, you would also be subject to the coloration of the microphones, but these sound wonderful. Whiskey touch my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down. I'm gonna give it a little bit more output. This song isn't particularly loud. We're going through our audience here. So this is what we're using to monitor on. So this is what's driving the speakers. Just lose yourself with me and tell me what you want to do. And we'll I mean, it's filling the room. Until the morning. So now I'm going to compare them with the Genelecs. Obviously, the Genelecs are the speakers I grew up using. They came out early, mid-90s, and they, you know, for want of a better word, they're pretty much a standard and for many, many years, and still considered some of the best powered monitors ever made. So here are the Callies. Loud.
Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. We push and pull and walk.
It's the Genelecs. The Genelecs have a little bit more of those high mids.
You know you're so insatiable, so take me down again.
The reality is with the Callies, and we had the shootout. I don't know if you remember that. We did the shootout about a year or so ago, a year and a half ago, and we used SonarWorks on the big Focals, which will go up, the Genelecs and the Callies. And once we, you know, flatten them all for the room, the difference was really negligible between all of the speakers. So, you know, the Callies do take EQ really well if you want to have a little bit of a tweak with them. But ultimately, I think what most people love about them is extended low end. I mean, they've got a beautiful low end for a very, very small speaker. So they're very satisfying for people that maybe are in home studios and they're doing, you know, dance music, EDM. They want extended low end. They want to make sure they can feel that huge kick or that big thumping bass. We've been recommending them to people a lot, as you know, and there's people building Atmos rooms with these speakers, because you need a lot of speakers. And at the price point they are, and as good as they sound, it's a great way to get an affordable room together that's not going to bankrupt you when you have to put up like 18 speakers or something like that. Let's listen to, actually Steve again in some ways, because it's his band Robert John. And this is a song called Georgia Mud. I mean, it's already louder than I'll ever need it to be. Can you tell by the fact? Super wide. I know you can't tell from on a mic, but the left is on the left. The guitar, the whip wheel, is like super over there. Yeah, louder than I'll ever need. So there you go. Great, great sign that you can get that much kind of volume out of it. And if you can see, the room's fairly large. It's not massive, but it, you know, we can have, well, when we did Aerosmith, we had about 8 people in here at all times, because we had the band, and then we had like the people that are with the band. We've had a lot of people in here, you know, 3 or 4 people on the couch, 2 or 3 sitting around here. So it's a fairly decent sized room. And you can fill it with sound with the Callies. Okay, let's find something, last but no means least, let's go to something completely different. There's a remix of Sliding Doors that Matt Lang did, and this is probably more up lots of people's alley that aren't going to be listening to sort of, aren't creating more rock-orientated stuff.
No one's ever been able to stop me in my tracks before. You're a beast, a wild animal, and I'm the lion that you tamed. Now under your control, you're like the ghost that follows me wherever I go. You're the music
There's a lot more volume than I need. Okay, so we're proving the point. They sound great. They sound like the LP-6s that you know and love, but they got a lot more volume to them. No distortion, just volume. Still sound great. All right, I suppose we should do one last thing. So Jonas Smith, this is a live recording done at Sunset Sound. Super open. Piano, bass, and drums.
I was lost, couldn't find my way home.
I mean, for $300 speakers, they're superb. I'm not alone. You know, I'm not telling you anything that you can't find out easily. They've been reviewed by every major music magazine and publication, whatever you want to say, and everybody loves them. We live in a fantastic time where we can actually get really good usable gear. When I first started, the kind of speakers that I could afford to start on were horrible, mid-rangey, noisy boxes, or the opposite. They were like these big smiley face with no mid-range. It's all boom and fizz. I wish we'd had speakers like this when I first started. And when I think of people like Billy Decker, who still uses the same pair of Mackie speakers he bought in the 90s, I wonder, in maybe 25 years' time, you'll go around to some late 30s, early 40s successful mixers studio in their house. And you'll see all the gold and platinum records and all the success that they've had. And you'll see them mixing on a pair of Callies because they grew up on them. I think it's very possible. If Billy Decker grew up on a pair of Mackies, then I'm sure there'll be many teenagers today that come in at this level, only being able to afford this kind of price range and realizing that they know how to mix on them and they can get great results. So thank you, Callie, for improving your speakers, which already sell really well. That's rather lovely. And best of all, we're giving away one of 3 pairs. There's 3 chances to win. So there's a link down below. Please click the link, go over there, enter to win. And thank you ever so much, Callie, for giving us 3 pairs to give away. And thanks everybody for watching. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, au revoir, adios, tschüss, sayonara, goodbye.